500 of you. Thank you, every single one. This is a Q&A. Thank you very much for the 500 subscribers that I now have. I never expected to actually get this far, but I did kind of set myself an unofficial goal of trying to hit 1,000 by the end of the year, and I'm halfway there. And yes, there's not much time to go till the end of the year, and I probably won't hit that goal, but the fact that 500 people think it's worth clicking a little button to subscribe to my channel is kind of a big deal for me, and I just want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart, because it does mean a lot. It does mean a lot that people actually care. To all the people that I've helped, you're welcome. That's why I do this, really. It's fun for me to do, but also I really like when I get to pass on knowledge or share something, say like the fix I had for the iPhone gimbal on the Ronin. Like, the fact that that has helped 1,000 people that's crazy. 1,000 people were helped by that video, and that's really humbling. That something so small that there's a terrible video that I just filmed on my phone. It wasn't even a good video production wise, but it helped people, and that's really cool. So that's one thing I really love about this platform and about YouTube. Anyway, I did ask a few people for some questions for this video, and I thought, well, I'm just going to have to go through and answer them now. So let's get into it. I have some written down in a book, and I just realized my book's back there. So if you bear with me a minute, I'm just going to wheel back really. Yeah, there we go. There. Hi, question I've been asked a few times based on my 18 to 135 video is STM or USM. With the 18 to 135 lens, which I'm shooting on right now, this is that lens, it doesn't really matter. It's optically, they're both the same. The difference is one is newer and one is older. The USM is the newer lens. It has a few tricks up its sleeve, unnecessary tricks, I believe. The biggest difference is the price. I was able to buy my 18 to 135 STM for half the price that the USM was going for at the time. So have a look, see who's got stock, see what's on eBay or whatever secondhand platform that you can buy from, and just see what's the best price. It really doesn't matter which one you go for. And if you want to go for the 18 to 150, I think it is, of the EFM mount, that's a great lens too. I personally just like the feel of the 18 to 135, but the 18 to 150 is a perfectly good choice for the M6 Mark II. So don't stress about it. Would I ever do YouTube full time? Sure, great. Patreon link is below. I mean, you know, you get a few thousand of you subscribing to that, and yeah, sure, I'll do this full time. But you know, I'm not interested in YouTube for the money. I do this because I enjoy making it, and I enjoy being able to pass on knowledge to you guys. So that's why I do it. If one day that leads to me being able to do this all the time, that would be amazing. But you know, I don't actually see that being a thing for myself. I'm no Peter McKinnon or anyone that sort of level. What should the M6 Mark III be? This one I've been thinking about. I really like the M6 Mark II. People see it as sort of an entry-level camera with its feature set and everything. It is in terms of APS-C, Canon don't make a better one. It's basically the same as the 90D. The only difference really is the body. The other one is bigger and weatherproofed and probably looks more like a professional camera, if you want to put it that way. But it's not, it's the same camera, basically. So this is, in my opinion, on the APS-C sensor size, as good as it gets. I mean, I would like 4K 60 frames a second. 4K is as high a frame a second as you can get. 120 4K, well, that would be amazing, right? But I don't think we're going to get that. But 4K 60, I would really love. And if you'd made the M6 Mark II body a little bit bigger so it could hold a full frame sensor, I'd be chuffed. I don't think I'd need anything else. I think this camera has so much to offer that A sensor size difference is the only thing you could really do to really improve the output of the camera. I think, yeah, there's lots of little things like the flip up screen could be a flip out screen. It could have a built-in viewfinder. There could be a whole lot of little things like that, but I don't think any of those would really fundamentally change the output of the camera, what the camera is actually capable of doing. But a full frame sensor would be a game changer for this camera, and if you could allow it to just shoot higher frames in 4K, that would be great for the video side. So I think that's all I'd really want out of an upgrade. And a second part to that was, if I wasn't shooting on the M6 Mark II, what would I shoot on? I really like shooting Canon. I've always liked shooting Canon. I think right now, money no object, and I was buying a new camera, I'd probably be looking at the R6. Early on, you made some vlogs with your son. What happened to him? He's great. He's doing well. He's still in Australia. He lives with his mum. I haven't been able to visit him for close to 2 years now, thanks to COVID travel restrictions. But I talk to him all the time on video chat. He's doing really well. He's at school. He's got his friends. Everything's great. We talk all the time. I read to him most nights. So he's doing really well, and I can't wait. I can't wait till I have been vaccinated and travel can open up again between New Zealand and Australia, and I can visit him again and maybe do some more vlogs with him. But I know I sound sort of matter of fact about that. It's a very serious, heavy issue because I miss him like crazy. But there's right now very little that can be done about it. So all I can do is just be the best video chat dad that I can be until we can hang out again. Yeah, that'll do. Another question I got asked was about zoom lenses. What's your experience shooting with zoom lenses and nature shots? Pretty good, really. I mean, the longest focal length that I have is my 55 to 250. That's the longest. I've played with a couple of like primes. I tried a 70mm prime and I tried a 400 prime. I liked the 400, I liked the extra length, but I think I want more. I felt like if I go super zoom, I wanted more reach. The only thing I can see myself shooting with a super zoom is something like the moon and that sort of thing, and I kind of, 400 is still not, it's like close to 600, but I think I want to push towards 800 to really get the kind of photo I want. Plus they're really expensive. Until I can find something cheap enough, I really struggle with the idea of buying a super zoom because I just know it's not going to leave my, it's not even going to go in my camera bag 90% of the time. Whereas a 250 is small, light, easy to carry, and it works for most things. I mean, the pictures of the blood moon that I took, for example, were great. Shooting nature though, you'd be surprised. There's quite a few shots that I've probably shot with that. Animals is great. I use it at the zoo all the time. If you've seen my animal photos on my Instagram from Auckland Zoo, the close-ups of the geckos, lizards, monkeys, that sort of thing, most of those are taken on the 55 to 250. I'd like something with more depth of field, like a lower f-stop, but it does the job. Those photos, I was looking at some the other day because I needed to share them with somebody, and I hadn't looked at them for a while, and I was impressed. Not with my skills so much, but the bokeh and everything was quite good for the fact that it's only a 250 lens with a 3.5. At full zoom, it's like 5.6. So a lot of those shots with a 5.6 aperture still look good. I think zooms are good for animals, but you need to be patient. You need to take time. And I think I need to do a whole video on it because you can't just snap, snap, you're done. A lot of the times you have to be very patient and wait, and the longer the focal length, the more you need things like tripods and things to support it so you're not too shaky, and you just really need patience. You need to set up the shot and let the animal come to the shot rather than follow the animal. That's the only way you're going to get good shots with a long focal length, because it's hard to swing that around accurately and get the shot. So that's in a nutshell, but I think I'm going to have to make a note for that for another video. There's another one I feel like I need to unpack. When you look back into your portfolio, what are some of the highlights, the things that you really loved photo-wise? It's really hard to say. I think I'm very critical of my own work, and when I look at my photos, I often look at them as, what could I have done different? How could I have improved this? What could I have done better? And for somebody to take a simple image that you've taken and go, hey, this is good enough to share with a lot of people, we think this is great, it's just nice. It's nice to know you're on the right track, because photography is a continual learning experience. You're never done learning. Even the masters will tell you that they haven't learned everything yet, that they're still figuring things out. Highlight for me is actually, again, less about a photo and more about sharing those photos. So recently I was able to take some of my photos and print them for friends for gifts. And giving photography as a gift, especially photography you've taken. Again, it's not about my ego. It's not about me going, hey, I'm so great that here's a thing that I did. I think about what photo represents my friends. What photo are they going to look at and go, that's nice, I like looking at it. And giving them that photo. Or in the case of one of my friends, when we did our road trip in his Century, I did a nice photo of his car by a lake, and for his birthday I gave him that photo. And I know he'll appreciate it because that photo will remind him of the great fun we had on that trip. And it's not about how good the photo is, it's about the memories and everything associated with it. But being able to give somebody a permanent physical reminder of a great experience that you shared is kind of unique to photography. I guess video as well, you could a little bit, but that's something he can hang on his wall and look at every day and go, that was an amazing time. I'm really happy I have that reminder of it. And the gift of photography is very important to me, and it's very special. So I think the gift of photography to friends, and also the times people have told me that my work's actually pretty good because of how critical I am, makes me feel good, and it makes me just realize I'm on the right path. And I think those are my two highlights, opposed to just photos. But really, I don't know. Being proud of photos for me is odd because I just like making stuff. I'm constantly learning. I don't feel like I'm good enough. I look at other photographers' photos and I'm like, wow, how do you do that? How did you make this? This looks incredible. I'm nowhere near as good as that. That's the experience I have all the time looking at others' photos, and I never feel like my photos are there. So I have some highlights, but they're tied to memories. But also the biggest highlights in photography for me is when I've been able to share it with other people and share the joy of memories and things. That's the biggest for me. Who got me into photography? It was just my dad. My dad gave me my first camera. He was a photographer. He did it professionally for a little while. We had I was very lucky. I grew up with a darkroom downstairs. Most of my experiences with film photography, specifically black and white, we had a darkroom downstairs. So my whole time through school, I was the privileged kid who had a darkroom at home. I could work all weekend on my assignments. But in doing that, I tended to spend all my time in class or in the darkroom at school, not working on my own work, but helping other kids, other people in my class with their work. And that's when I learned that I really love photography as a sharing experience, as a place to share. I love helping the others figure their stuff out. And yeah, anyway, what is your experience with star night photography? Your blood moon video was really cool, and interested to know how did the time lapse that I took with the blood moon, I personally felt was terrible because I thought it was going to come out better than it did. That was just shot on my Insta360 1X2, which I've been shooting a lot of vlogs with. I just set that up as a time lapse, cut out the bit that looked the best, and used that. I was hoping there would be a clearer view of the sky and everything, but with all the light pollution I was just in my backyard. I wasn't anywhere special, so the light pollution and everything, it didn't. If I'd gone out somewhere fancy, maybe we could have done a starscape. It would have looked beautiful, but it didn't. It was just, yeah. In terms of shooting the night sky, I'm really bad at it. I've tried a few times. I was in Lake Tekapo in the middle of the South Island last year. We've got like several observatories there. It's supposed to be the best view of the night sky, and I took some photos of the stars, and it's the wrong time of year if you wanted to get galaxies and stuff in the Milky Way, but also they're really average. They're not very good. I haven't tried proper astrophotography, and that's something that I'd like to experiment with, and I'll bring you guys along on the ride when I do. But I really need to get out there, plan it properly, go somewhere where there's no light pollution, shoot a bunch of photos, try stacking. All of that sort of technical stuff is something I haven't really dabbled in yet. And so anything you see me show with stars in it is just me taking a snap with a really high ISO, and to be perfectly honest. So we'll get there eventually, but yeah, it's something I haven't really played with. What was my first camera? This one. This was my first camera. This is the Premiere. What brand is this? Premiere PC600. This camera changed everything. So there was a camera before this. It was a yellow thing. You put film in it, shot it. There was nothing special about it. I don't think it even had a flash. There's yellow plastic. This thing here has, like, check out this cover. Look. You're watching? It opens up the lens, but also look at the viewfinder, watch. See, it's got a cover over the viewfinder. That's not what makes it special. What makes it special is this switch here on the side, which actually changes the film speed. This camera let me use up to 1,000, that's right, 1000 ISO on this. Now it is film, so you're shooting on 1000 ISO, you're shooting with just 1000 ISO film. Most of the time we shot with 200. It's got a switch for 100 to 200, which is basically the same setting. Then it went up to 400, and then it goes up to 1000. Yeah, it's got a switch for the flash here, the lens, you know, it's pretty standard. The film goes in the back. It had a little light that would come on the back to tell you that when you had run out of stuff, the viewfinder, it actually has like a little reticle in it, a little bit to like what I'm looking at right now with the focus things around my face. This camera is really capable. It was point and shoot. It's only what is it? It's a 38. This camera might be responsible for my love affair with 38 to 40mm focal lengths. I've just realized that right now. This is a 38mm lens. It's shot on 35mm film, had auto rewind. When the film got to the end of the spool, back straight away automatically. You never opened up the back and stuffed up your film. This thing packed a lot of features in. Auto rewind, you know, you had the ISO, it's got a, what the heck is CDS? I have no idea what that is. I think there was actually a light meter. F3.5, focus free. That's right, this camera actually kind of had autofocus. This thing's cool. It's really, to be honest, I kind of want to power it up. Chuck some batteries. What batteries did it take? I think it was just AA batteries. I kind of want to get some film and use this again because it's kind of awesome. To be honest, I'd kind of seen this on my dad's shelf, not really paid much attention to it, gone, oh, here's my original camera, that's cool. Looking at it again though, this thing's kind of rad. But yeah, 38mm, I just thought of that. Like, I love that focal, I love that field of view, and it might be because of this camera. There you have it. That is my Q&A for 500 subscribers. Not the most impressive Q&A that you've probably seen today, but that's me and that's my story. I just wanted to thank you all again for watching my content and for turning up and for commenting. I love the comments. Please, if you have never commented, comment. Just say hi. Hi. That's all you need to do, just say hi. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. That is my Q&A for 500 subscribers. I hope you heard your question, if you left one. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you again really soon with a photography-based video that isn't, that footage isn't locked behind some stupid iOS update that's completely garbled things and I can't use it because of it, and hopefully that gets fixed soon. Anyway, be good to each other, be kind, be safe, and I will see you guys again really, really soon. Thank you so much for giving me your time. Bye for now. Touched the lens, didn't I? I'm gonna have to clean that now. And I had a bit of, to be honest, I had a bit of beer on my finger too, so that's really smudged it. That's all, folks.